So it's funny. Another topic related to sex. When to start having sex? When to start having sex? What do you think? In Vietnam, when to start having sex? 20 years ago, when to start having sex in Vietnam? Yeah, let me tell you, I had a topic when to get married. Yeah, in the past, 20 years ago, people got married at the age maybe before 25, right? Before 25. Now it's around 30. And in the future, it will be like 35. So we are getting married older and older. Yeah. But what about sex? In the past, I think they start having sex when they get married, right? When they get married. Like 20 to 25, right? And nowadays, not about our time has passed already. Maybe 10 years ago already start having sex. But nowadays, young generation, when do they start having sex? I think in Vietnam now about 15, huh? Yes, it's about 15. And from 20 to 15, is it earlier or later? It's earlier, right? Now, the age to start having sex is earlier, getting earlier and earlier. In the future, maybe less than 15, they will start having sex. That's normal, right? Like in developed countries now, like in the US now, for example, so they start having sex at the earlier age. Yes? And in our class, we listen to the story from Lan, right? Mr. Lan. Lan told us a story about herself. She got married at the age of 21, about 21, right? And before getting married, she didn't have sex for several years. Yes, she loved him. She loved her husband at the age of 17, around, right? And didn't have sex with him until the time she got married. She didn't check before she got married, right? And she told us after the marriage, within 1 week, she couldn't make love to her husband because she's scared. She didn't know about sex before, so she's scared when she saw something so big and long, right? Big and long, and she's scared. For the whole week, she couldn't do it, and her husband was so sad. What I can do now? I really want what I can do now. And she scared, and she said, I don't know what to do. It is so scary. Why? It is so funny. She talked to a friend of her, and her friend sent her a video, a link, and told her to go to the corner and watch it alone. Watch the video alone. She went to the corner, watched the video, and still feel scared. So they needed to go to see the doctor in Bach Mai Hospital. They really come to Bach Mai Hospital to see a doctor. There, the doctor talked to Lan. Lan, take it easy. I don't know what did the doctor do with Lan, but after that, Lan came back home, and Lan and her husband have 2 daughters until now. I don't know what did the doctor do with Lan. Did he show her something for her to practice, for her to do with her husband? Okay, so that's Lan's story, and it makes me remember about the story of my wife's best friend. One of the best friends of my wife, she was my wife's classmate in university. She went to Japan after she graduated from university for master degree in Japan, and there she met a boyfriend in Japan. But before that boyfriend, when she was in Vietnam during her university, then she had 2 boyfriends before. She had 2 boyfriends. At that time, I loved Ben, and she had 2 boyfriends. I remember, she is so beautiful. She is tall and beautiful. But there's a problem with her. There's a problem. She is very closed. She's open in conversation, talking to people. She's very open. But in sex, she is very closed. Maybe at that time, she didn't know anything about sex. She didn't know how to have a child. She didn't know how to have a child. And with her boyfriend, when she was a student, she only hold the boyfriend like when she's under the boyfriend on the motorbike, she hold the boyfriend with 2 hands, just like a friend, a normal friend. Yes, and her boyfriend wanted to get married to her, and she said goodbye to that boyfriend. And when she went to Japan and met a new boyfriend in Japan, and she informed us that she was getting married with him, we were so happy to hear that. And she and her wife, they came back to Vietnam to celebrate the wedding. We attended the wedding, and during the wedding we asked about her husband, and she told us that her husband has been researching in that university in Japan for many years. And he's a researcher, very professional in Japan. And you know, people in Japan, they work so hard. And after that, 1 month later, Bing had another girl, a very close friend with her, and another girl named Phương. Phương got married almost the same time with the one who went to Japan named Voi or Hương. Hương and Phương. Phương lives in Vietnam. Phương got married to her husband in Vietnam, and 1 month later she told Bing about one problem between her, Phương and her husband. Phương wanted to have a child, so Phương wanted to have sex with her husband, but her husband cannot do. Whenever her husband saw Phương naked, no clothes, her husband just like the penis becomes very strong, very straight and strong. But whenever Phương touched the penis, it is like a firework. Boom, boom, boom. And the penis becomes small again and soft again. Cannot make love with her. She and her husband went to see a doctor already, but the doctor told her to help her husband. She has tried to help her husband, but she could not do. So she talked to Binh about that problem. She really wanted to have sex with her husband, but cannot. She has a high demand, but her husband cannot supply. Yes? So, two friends, two different problems. Hương has another problem. Hương in Japan, Hương wanted to have a child, but she and her husband, they don't know how to make a child. They don't know how to make a child. So they only sleep together and feel happy. It's very funny. They sleep together and feel happy. They don't know what to do in order to make a child. So her husband told her, because I am very busy researching something in the university, so I give you this task to research about this, to research and talk to me how to make a child. We really want to have a child. How to make a child, they don't know. Phương told Binh about that, and Binh talked to Hương and Phương in Vietnam at the same time. Hương from Japan, Hương said, why do you need to worry about having sex? Binh explained Hương about having sex before that, right? So Hương already know in order to have a child, they need to have sex. So Phương told Hương, hey, why do you need to be sad like that? I and my husband spent 1 month together, and we are happy. We have been being happy. From the time we got married until now, we only sleep together, hug, and be happy. Don't need to have sex. And Phương is crying and say, I have a high demand. What about you? You don't have any demand? and your husband doesn't have any demand. That's crazy. Yeah? Are you a person? Are you a human being? Maybe they both come from another universe, another planet, not from this earth, but they come here from different times, but they meet up together in Japan. That's funny, huh? Phương, after that, Phương got divorced. Actually, she didn't need to go to the judge. She didn't need to go because she and her husband didn't sign in the certificate of marriage. They didn't sign before the wedding. They only had a wedding party, so Phương was easy. Just take the luggage, a suitcase with clothes, and went back to her mommy. And they said goodbye to each other. And Phương, up to now, Phương is still single, not married yet. And Hương from Japan, until now, after 3 years, we haven't heard anything from her. She's still happy with her husband, but they don't have children until now. So those are very, very those are very weird, right? Weird cases in people who get married, and like more weird than Lan's story. You can hear, okay? So thank you for listening to this.